Please give a warm welcome to Nkobe Maseko.
Thank you, first of all, to everyone for being here today. I was asked specifically to focus on the fourth industrial revolution. In the lift, we're talking about if we used the fourth industrial revolution better, we would not have been stuck in a lift for 20 minutes. And we're actually being serious. Sam was talking about how there are technologies currently available that could literally remotely monitor a lift failing, right? Troubleshoot the problem, pick up a history of information on how that issue has been resolved, and without human intervention, make the fix, right? So the reality is we're currently living way below our own potential that's currently available to us. And for me, the big thing is, the first problem is that a lot of people don't understand what the fourth industrial revolution is. If you ask, and I won't do it in this crowd because of limited time, what the fourth industrial revolution is, people talk about technologies. It's actually about a new era in human development and human capability. The first industrial revolution was about steam power, and we were suddenly able to have steam trains. The second industrial revolution was about electricity, and suddenly we had lights at home and at work, and we could actually work beyond the lighting of the natural sun. The third industrial revolution was about personal computing power. It was about actually having a machine in your home, in your office, initially a giant mainframe computer, then converted into kind of your personal home computing system that allowed you to automate tasks that you hated doing. It allowed you to automate and code and program a computer to actually do things that you found laborious. Okay? The fourth industrial revolution takes that to the next level, and what it means is that the line between the virtual versus the physical starts to be blurred. And we see it in our daily lives, right? We see kind of a blurring of the lines between human beings doing jobs versus computers doing jobs. I don't want to use the word robots because then people imagine life-size robots walking around, and most of the disruption doesn't look like a person. It is a computer machine that has actually been instructed by a human being on how to do certain tasks that humans have found far too tedious, and an opportunity for human beings to actually apply the fact that they are human beings with emotions, with creativity, with intuition, with an ability to solve problems, and with an ability to understand our own context. It means that instead of the 6 hours you spend on doing manual tasks, you have 6 hours freed up to do work that really is impactful. Now in education, what I was sharing on the video that will go viral, even if I have to do it myself from different IP addresses, what I was sharing in the lift was that right now, the kids that are currently enrolled in our schools in grade 1 have 12 years of schooling ahead of them. They will finish matric in 2030. We don't know what 2030 looks like, but I am pretty certain that we've already failed them. We can't predict what 2030 looks like, but we can very specifically say that we're not doing what we needed to do even for 2018. Just for 2018, we failed, let alone 2030, right? What that means is that schools and the education system needs to be able to strategize and be very efficient in changing how they do things. They need to be better at that than companies. The companies that everyone works for normally do 5-year time horizons. 5. Schools have to do 12. 12 years to figure out what it is that we're preparing students for. And we're not doing that. We're not doing that at the moment. One of the big issues for me is that in the ECD space, with kids kind of under the age of 6 before they reach grade 1, a lot of kids in this country don't even make it into an ECD center. A lot of the ECD centers are really creches and play schools. I mean that because they play, they sleep, they eat. Okay? It is not a preschool setting. But also a preschool setting and being exposed to that has been proven time and time again in our TIM study and our PIM studies, where they track cohorts of children that have gone through an actual academic exposure in preschool, and they perform better at reading and writing, perform better at mathematics at grades 1, 3, 6, 9, 12. And then there's a question of like, how do you teach these skills? Do we throw laptops at like little kids at the age of 3, right? And the reality is that's actually the research says that's not the answer for kids below the age of 6. The answer is to start teaching them to think logically, strategically, and analytically, so that when you start introducing technology and teaching them skills to influence technology, they actually are able to solve problems that they see on a daily basis. School is no longer about waiting till grade 12 to solve problems and get out into the world. School is right now, what problems can those kids solve? Because as Africans, we have tons of problems, not enough solutions, but we have all the tools available to us. And even though we have those tools available, we're still spectators in the fourth industrial revolution. We're spectators. We're catching up, if we dare catch up, right? And some of the simple principles are that we need to be teaching skills. It's not a content game. Content is readily available in our devices right now. There's also a lot of trash on the internet. And the question is, are we teaching people how to actually filter through that information and the stuff that they have available to them to solve problems and find stuff that is accurate for what they're trying to do? The question is, are we teaching kids to think beyond mathematics and English and history to find solutions that take a little bit from history, mathematics, entrepreneurship, African leadership? Are we raising our kids to know that they come from the African continent? Are we gearing them to have big, hairy, audacious goals about solving problems on the African continent? Because they don't need to wait until they're 18 to do that. Some kids are doing it right now, better than many of us in this room are able to currently. I'll stop there.